But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. The word of the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Isn't God amazing, y'all? God is so good. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Neicey. I am the chapel steward of worship for this service, and I am also the vice president of Project Regalia. It is wonderful and amazing to see all of you out here today. So if you could bow your heads, we'll pray, and then we'll get into the word. Lord God, we thank you so much, Lord, for bringing us here, God. We thank you for waking us up this morning, God. We thank you for blessing us to see another day. God, we ask that you be with us, Lord God. Word my mouth, Lord God. Remove me, Lord God, and allow me to be a vessel, Lord God. Allow me to deliver your word in the way that you want. We give you all the glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so the title of my message today is called Is Handled. How many of you have heard of or watched or are a little slightly obsessed with the show Scandal? Yeah.
Preach, God.
What time for it?
Okay, awesome. So for those of you who have watched the show, then it's handled is probably a very familiar phrase to you. So for those of you who haven't heard of the show, let's give a little bit of background information about what it is. So Scandal is one of Shonda Rhimes' shows. She's also done Grey's Anatomy, which is my favorite. And she's also done How to Get Away with Murder. So in this show, the star is Olivia Pope, who is played by the beautiful Kerry Washington. And so basically, Olivia Pope works with her team to ensure that people's secrets are kept just that. They are kept secret. So in a typical episode, Olivia will get a call from a client, be like, hey, this came up or something went down. I need you to make this go away. And so Olivia will be like, it's handled. Her and her team will work nonstop to help keep that secret, and if it just so happens to get onto the press, she will steer the story in the way that she wants it to go. Olivia also worked on the presidential campaign and helped the president get elected, and she is known by many to be the best of the best. Like, I need y'all to understand, Olivia is the best of the best, okay? So, is handled is a popular term because when Olivia is faced with some sort of problem or situation, she assures them by saying it's handled. She does this by saying it's handled. She affirms that her skills are impeccable, and no matter what happens, no matter what comes, that she has the situation under control. And so what I love about Scandal is, like, you know without a doubt in your mind that Olivia gonna take care of the situation. Right? So like you basically just going along with the story for about a good 45 minutes, just like, okay, y'all crying and talking about all this and that, it's cool, but we know she gonna handle it, right? And when we think about our surety and Olivia Pope, like I said, we know at the end of the day, she got the situation taken care of. We can back that up with the fact that, first of all, the story is fictional, right? So we know that there are writers, and they're not about to let Olivia Pope and ruin her, fix her reputation. Like, we know they is not gonna set her up for no type of failure. And so, I don't know about y'all, but if Olivia Pope was losing in every episode, I wouldn't be watching. It's like, I need her to win. Like, I need every episode, I need you to come through, I need you to go ahead, fix that situation so we can go about my business. Like, so, sorry. So even if a situation occurs that seems like it's too big, right? We know, okay, at the end of the day, Olivia is going to fix this situation. Like, she absolutely has to. But when it comes to thinking about our own lives, we're not as sure that everything will be handled, and for good reason, right? So like I said, the show is fictional. It's written and designed so that way every situation we know, okay, is going to be handled. So our faith in that show is real easy. We already seen it, we know, they're going to write it, they got it, right? And so, but it's a lot easier to believe that than we believe in our situations because they're real. Like, they're happening right now. Like, it's a whole problem. It's a problem. Like, when my bills ain't getting paid, when food is low in the fridge, and student loans are piling up, like, this is a whole entire situation. I need this situation to be fixed. Like, I am stuck up against a wall. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, I cannot keep going much longer like this. Where is my breakthrough? Like, when are things going to be handled? And so sometimes things have to shift in order for your breakthrough or your miracle to occur. Sometimes God has to completely shift our lives. He has to remove certain people, remove jobs, put us in situations that we are like, Lord, what's up? Like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And he has to do that in order for us to be where he needs us to be. I need y'all to understand, like, I am a living testimony of what it is like when God shakes your world upside down in order to bless you. And so I want to take this time to kind of be vulnerable with you guys for a minute and tell you about my personal story, about how I know that God is able to do amazing things. Right? So a little bit of background information. Last year, I was doing pretty good. I was an RA. I was working in the chapel office. I was secretary of BSA, and then I went on to be vice president of Project Regalia. But as far as my mental state was going, I was starting to become stagnant. I was starting to lose my way. I forgot about who God was and how he allowed me to be able to be where I am or where I'm at. And so even though things looked good on the exterior, because I knew how to make them look good, on the inside, they were not that great. And so I wanted to give you that background information just so that way you can understand where I was at mentally, what was going on in my life at that time. So fast forward to second semester, for particular reasons, I no longer had my RA position. And so here I was without a job, which was a pretty good job, right? Which really hurt, that hurt my heart. And so I was also strapped with where I was about to live for a little bit. So that was a little rough, but it was okay. God allowed that situation to be figured out, which was fantastic. However, there was a new bill that was attached to that being figured out. So I'm freaking out about that bill because in case y'all forgot, I ain't had no job, okay? This is a problem. This is a whole situation. Also, around that time frame, I lost my best friend. And so I need y'all to understand that there is no hurt like losing your best friend. Like, it is a piercing, heart-twisting type of pain. And that was one that took me a very, very long time to deal with. So now, here I am with my best friend gone. My job is gone. I got bills. Now I got new bills. And then I'm literally looking like, okay, this is a little rough because I still got classes. I still worked in the chapel office. I still have Project Regalia. Like, my life was not about to stop just because everything went up in flames. And so I was hard pressed on every side. I was perplexed. I was persecuted. I was struck down. But see, and I love this phrase, but God. Right? See, I was hard pressed on every side, but I was not crushed. God made a way for me to move thanks to the help of my wonderful RA staff. And so that little bit of pressure was gone. It felt like I could breathe again. I missed my job, I missed my friends, but I had to trust and believe that God knew what he was doing in my life. And when I tell y'all, I need you guys to understand that this situation was a situation that should have been so much worse than what it was. And so what I love about God is even while you're going through trials and you're going through tribulations, he is there and he still blesses you while you're going through that transition. So he was there to soften those blows that came my way. They were so much more manageable when I had God on my side. Amen? And not only did that happen, he blessed me with a closer relationship to my fiance and a sisterhood that I genuinely would not change or mess up or get rid of for anything in the world. I was struck down, right? But I was not destroyed. God made a way for me to pay my bills. He allowed me to get an amazing internship, which allowed me to pay for the rest of my bills. And he also allowed me to be able to put my deposit down for my apartment. Disclaimer, I live in Greyhound Village. And I'm very happy about it. Like when you ask me, oh, Neicey, where do you live? I'm like, I live in Greyhound Village. It's great. I live in Greyhound Village. Yay, Greyhound Village. And I absolutely, I love it. So sometimes God is going to strip you down, right? Yep. He is going to remove your job. He may remove your friends. You may start going through trials and tribulations. But the thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is that while he is stripping away things that you feel like are familiar, while he's stripping away things that you feel like should be there, I need you guys to know that he is clearing a path for your blessing.
All right.
Isaiah 55, 8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts." We are not meant to understand God. We are not meant to understand why things are happening in the way that they are. Our job is to trust that God will get us to where we are meant to be. And yes, we're going to get tired of running this faith walk. Like, when I tell you, sometimes it's going to seem exhausting. But at the end of the day, he shows up. So, an example, okay, let's say there's a race, right? You have your runner, he's running, okay. And so he's doing good at first. When they be like, go, he's like he's out. He's real strong, real confident. But then as the race goes on, right, he's starting to get a little weak. He's starting to get a little tired. His breath starts to become heavier and faster. And he's thinking like, where does finish line at? Like, I thought it would be right here, but I've been running for a little bit and I ain't made it yet. Like, what's going on? How much more I gotta run? Like, I'm tired, right? And I think that we can heavily relate to that, right? We are on our journey, and it seems like our blessing is farther and farther away than we anticipated. We thought that our situation would have been figured out already. Like, why am I still going through this? Why is this still happening? We start to feel alone. We start to feel tired. We start to feel defeated. But I need you to know that God is there, right? My mom always says that God shows up in the smallest ways, in the smallest moments. He winks at you or smiles. She got a whole book about it. But she was right. So in that scenario, I like to think that God is that water that you get at that 1 mile marker, right? God is that little cup of water that you get at that 3 mile marker. God is there replenishing you. God is there nourishing you. God is there encouraging you to keep going because he knows that you will be blessed when you are done. He knows that you will be someone new when it's over. But we have to trust him even when we cannot see the finish line.
All right.
So in closing, if you guys don't remember anything I said today, please remember that God is with you always. And when I say always, I mean always. Yeah. God is a healer. God is a way maker. Yeah. God is a miracle worker. Yeah. God is a fixer. Yeah. God can and he will. Yeah. He's already preparing to do the impossible in your life. Yeah. Thank you.